Arj, how you doing, mate? Good to connect.
Likewise, my friend. It's thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no, really good to chat. And congrats again. I know I haven't said it in person yet. Buyers Agency of the Year in 2026. It's massive. You guys must be really happy and proud.
Man, it's definitely a recognition of what the team's just been able to do and the results we've been able to achieve for the clients and the trust the clients put into us. Like that's it, man. It's the output of your team being recognized and the impact they make, the actual impact for the clients, and then the clients recognizing it by, creating this rolling circle of like them coming back around and wanting to do it all over again or tell those close to you. And that's just what makes all those stats and everything real.
Important, yeah, brings it to life. No, it's massive kudos. Like I said, makes it a big feedback loop, and I'm sure there's many more awards in the pipeline for years to come. But keen to unpack, man. I know we've done a little bit of work together, and what I do at sort of high ticket hero, which a lot of people watching this may not fully understand, and I feel like because you've gone through the process with myself, just to unpack what that sort of looks like. So. Initially, I think we connected through LinkedIn. Like I know me and Louis were in similar circles and stuff. And you may not have heard of me. I definitely heard of you from BAI days and whatnot as well. But initially, I guess on your end, mate, like what led to the initial conversation, and what sort of expectations did you have coming into some of those sort of first chats with me?
Yeah, look, the first expectations and the first chats are all around like, okay, we're at a certain level here, and I know we want to break through. Um, and the good news is there's this industry relevancy that you had. And when you have that relevancy, it just means that a lot of our time and sessions can be focused on the actual solution
Mm,
rather than the context. And it's not to say that you can't support other industries too. You definitely can. It's very translatable, but it's just more so the benefit of having that meant we could, and that was helpful. In terms of the other thing as well, which was like, what did we expect? A part of us did think like, you know what, we're kind of good at this, so it'd be interesting to see how much better we can get. So it's like
yep.
it's mixed confidence and humility. Like a part of us to go, confidence to go, can they get us better? That was the first part. And then the
Yeah.
humility to go, well, we're here now, we're engaging because we want to get better. Right. So we always carry both those traits with us everywhere we go as a business and myself as a founder. It's like, show me what you got. But at the same time, it's like, hey, um, we know we want to get better, otherwise we wouldn't be talking.
Yeah, man. No, I really like, and that's what I came across too. It's like, hey, you guys are an entity in your own right. Like I said, getting so much results, and again, off the awards and your client results and everything. So again, just being open to the process, like, hey, could it be better? If not, and I love you guys obviously set a very clear scope of like, hey, these are the potential areas where we think we, may be better or curious as to how else it could be done. So to define that. But yeah, I agree. Sometimes when I speak to buyers agents, they're very like, oh, is this going to be another line item? Like what actual needle, could it change and what sort of impact are you going to sort of feel? For you, because I know we sort of defined, in particular the first sort of 30 days, what we wanted to work on. Where were you hoping to see change versus where you actually saw change? Like, was there alignment there? Or was like, oh, actually, Maddie's added some impact here unexpectedly, or that happened a bit quicker than I thought? Because I know there was a little bit of like, is this guy just going to be, again, information gathering for months on months and it's going to sort of may lead to something or may not? Like, what was it versus you thought it could have been this, but it ended up being that? Like, I guess that sort of alignment and sort of harmony on your end.
Yeah, there was this element of I thought it's going to be deep information gathering. I think anything that you go into consultative supports, like there's that component of it. And look, that's a given of the nature of any time you step into this territory. But I was pleasantly surprised by this almost like toolkit of quick wins that you had in your arsenal. It was like to go, I know I'm going to prove myself to you as a team to help you see this change. And I know that requires context because every business is different.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to go through and investigate, learn, converse, just kind of get to a point. But I felt like there was this like toolkit that you go, I can just quickly see what you are and aren't doing. And I can quickly say, just deploy this overnight, deploy this the next week, the day after. Because when you do, you will see and feel something.
Yeah.
And the power that does for us as a then like synergy in the relationship with you and actually jumping on the execution train of everything moving forward, or even just feeding you the context quicker,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all just better because it's like, you instantly gain a result. It's kind of like, any industry, you take the PT industry. If someone showed you something to burn some calories and you don't feel sore, or if someone had you in day one or week one feel full without feeling like you went to the dark side of the foods that you shouldn't eat, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's a quick win. And you can instantly change credibility. Or if someone's in our industry and you have a strategy session with them and you're like, hey, in the strategy session, did you know you could do this and this will get you this and try it now? And
Mm,
you could try it now. It physically didn't need you to rewire your whole CRM to get some result.
yep.
That immediately equaled something. So that was the thing I was pleasantly surprised by. Like it wasn't, let me unpack your whole business, let me change everything you do. It was more like, hey, success and rising through it isn't about forgetting everything you've done and doing something differently. It's about like realizing that there are things that have gotten you to this point and they need to stick. But
Yep.
what subtle or new thing can you do immediately, fast, lowest hanging fruit to go and
Yep.
change something? And so that was clear, and that was something I was pleasantly surprised by.
Yeah, cool, man. I really appreciate that sharing. And that was sort of me, I guess, coming into your funnels and like, is it standardized? Is it working here? Is it working there? Like, were there any potential gaps? And having it all out there in like a straight line and be like, hey, we could potentially add in a few things here, here, and here. Like I said, the lowest hanging fruit to do it quite quickly, just so it's there. And then we've got every piece in my mind in terms of how it could work better from like just a sales sort of function standpoint. And then it's like, okay, these things could be better for XYZ reasons. And then let's, split test that. Let's get a bit of feedback from the team. Let's see how it actually works. Let's sort of deploy it. So it's like it was a balance of like, let's just give you a lot of things and you guys can sort of run with it and feel the impact of it. And then as you implement in the business, come back to me and I can help to sort of verify that's been implemented the right way. Like, yep, this is the result you should be seeing, or actually that wasn't executed the right way, or maybe we need to dive into a bit deeper into sort of those sort of reasons, or this is the tweak we need to use that works for your offer specifically. So it's sort of true to the brand and the vision of what you guys are doing. So it was cool. No, I really, really enjoyed going through that process for yourself as well. And I obviously, explain, being the founder of High Ticket Hero and what I do and help buyers agents sort of scale and increase their lead to sale rate and how much revenue they're generating per lead and stuff. But how would you articulate it on your end? I'm curious now you've gone through the process. If there was another buyer's agent in the elevator with you, how would you sort of break down what the service felt like on your end, mate?
Of course, I'd say the service, firstly, for another buyer's agent to recognize is that they, even with all our success, we didn't know our blind spots. So I would say for someone else I'm speaking to, I was like, hey, this is an opportunity for you to know your blind spots to go, this is where you might not be realizing things could be better. And this is where you could have some quick wins. The second thing is when you think you're doing enough, you're probably not doing enough. And
Mm,
so if I'm speaking to another buyer's agent thinking, like, I've tried everything, well, you probably haven't. We're a team of 100 plus, and we
yeah,
have revenue line items of, multiple eight figures now that we're on track for. And divisions, layers, leadership, coaches, consulting, like everything into the mix. And we still realize coming through to you, we haven't tried everything.
yeah,
And then the third part is that sales is never a sales problem. It's always in unison with sales and marketing and sales. And your consulting doesn't stop at sales and go, oh, but that's a marketing thing. There was
yeah,
ways that you were able to help us kind of like look at both together, and we could, you know, have sales more integrated with marketing. So that's one of the things that's been a big change for us, is that like integration between the two has improved too. But typically, when you look at it from the outside, you wouldn't expect that. So if I'm speaking to that buyer's agent in the elevator, I'd say those are the three things: is that you need more holistic support from someone who can consider both. You need to realize that you aren't doing everything that you possibly could be doing, and this is where help can support that. And then also to realize that there's still so much growth ahead that you can patch up and cover your blind spots with.
yeah, man. No, I appreciate it. I like the blind spots one too. I haven't thought about that. It's almost like a mystery shop or an audit. It's like, hey, in my, opinion, you're sort of 80 out of 10 in these reasons, but this is what we could change to get it to 100 out of 10. And the scope, like obviously I focus as much as possible on sales, but because I've done all, the different roles of, being a closer and setter and head of sale, I've been in that whole ecosystem of what happens on the BA side of a business. I know who has to do what and how it just naturally sort of overlaps with other people. So if we can set it up where the sales was, hey, 100% confident, everyone in your sales function, head of sales, closer, so everyone's doing their best bit. Then you can relay with conviction back to marketing because obviously that can change really quick and budget and stuff, and you can sort of get a burn there to make sure that's always 10 out of 10, and then how it can naturally go into sort of ops and stuff as well. So yeah, that direct scope, but there can be a little bit of overlap there too. What would you say has been some of the practical takeaways, like some of the actual changes or things that you guys are sort of comfortable to use? Okay, Matt, maybe that wasn't for us, or this worked really well, and we're going to sort of keep that going. Like some of the longer term sort of shifts to keep this going in the business for you guys.
I'd say the biggest takeaway out of everything has been uh, taking common themes in the marketplace, whether it be certain noise or whether it be certain FAQs or certain things coming up, using the power of content and integrating marketing into your ongoing sales system to have customers have their objections, gaps filled. And so then as a result, like sales and marketing have more integration with each other.
Yeah.
And then sales team members are kind of building SOPs as you go because
Mm,
you're taking common questions, answering them in formats, blending them into marketing, bringing that marketing back into sales to answer it, then equipping your sales team members with more tools. And then as you go through the journey, the sales team members can have an educational way to close and not just closing through closing.
yeah.
The other
Yeah.
thing that really helped as well was like standardization was really helpful in our projects and like leaning more into that and realizing that you can do more with less in certain areas. Sometimes the perfect sales teams, yes, they need to start a journey of high activity,
Mm,
but then you actually got to find a way to bring that activity down through automations and
yeah.
then change that activity into more consultative, support and sitting in the close or sitting in that call to really be like, hey, this isn't a on to the next thing. We can go deeper into certain areas. And so I feel like those are the big things for us that I look back on. It's like, hey, we're now just cemented our sales and marketing integration. Second thing is we're trying to look at high activity before we optimize, and then we eventually optimize. And then
Yeah.
the third thing is we're trying to get people to sit more in those conversational pieces more, longer, deeper, just so we can actually get to the other side and know that we've got all this content and support to help them fill the gaps.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Really good to hear. I know you've put a lot to standardize it too, and then I think you build off that like trust but verify the data as well. So because like you said, you got over 100 staff, it's like who's doing this, who's doing that, and other ways to check, how it's sort of being done too, to keep those standards really, really high. And then once they see, one person's a high performer, it'll sort of become a bit contagious, and it can lead to a cultural shift. I know while we're working together with some new people coming in, and they hit the ground running really, really well. So that's cool. It sounds like it's sort of leveled up in a few different ways and overall, just feeling really solid. Like, would you feel like I guess, just a level of confidence there? Not that, again, it's a hard one because I want to say it's not like you weren't confident. Again, I know seeing you guys in the AFR and all the rest of it going, year on year on year. But has it led to, I guess, a high level of, without you having to be in the trenches, with your team, that you maybe as a founder have a high level of confidence or sort of certainty, or just your finger on the pulse, perhaps?
Yeah, I think the best word to use is probably not confidence, it's more formulaic,
Yeah, okay,
right?
cool.
And I feel like as businesses scale, if you don't have formula, like you're just operating on energy and motivation, you're operating on I hope this comes out to work out. You're operating on
Mm,
pure activity. And when we
yeah,
think of just all the things we're going through, whether it be the like conversion rates, the certain metrics in between, the way sales and marketing integrate, the rules and frameworks, the way we automate nurtures, the way we discuss certain nurtures for certain people, the way we invite certain people to certain areas of like specialized communication, like all of these like strategies and tactics, like they help you build formulas. And so what ends up happening is like you go, hey, by this point we should be up to here. And by if we're not, we have that mechanism kick in. By this point we should be up to here. And then by not, we have that mechanism kick in. And if these things kick in too often too much, then we know where the problem sits here. And so I
yeah,
feel like like those things have helped us a lot. How do we bring urgency? How do we bring, the speed to decision making? How do we so like all of these things create formulas. Like for example, um, 85% of our conversions now happen within 7 days.
Amazing. Wow, I didn't even know that too. I know it's sort of
right?
shifted a bit and there was a
It
little bit of
shifted massively.
yeah,
Shifted
wow.
massively. So, but like, do you know just how powerful that is? And obviously, that's not for every month. It's only for the last month, and the because like it's been accumulating everything being implemented now. But
Yeah.
like the last month or two has been that. So that's so powerful because it allows you to know where your marketing goes. It allows you to adjust your marketing. It allows you to know when things are falling off. You learn within a week. Because if
Yep.
that percentage metric is now lower within a week, then you know it's nothing to do with prior. It's to do with what happened over that last week. And so
Yeah.
you can investigate. And I feel like as companies grow, if you can't turn things into formulas, you have uh, no forecast or prediction outside of how hard you can push,
Mm,
outside of your activity, and outside of the hope that the marketplace keeps liking what you're building to actually scale, like
yeah.
ongoing. Like you might have a shelf life, and that shelf life might come off based on your activity or your ability to push, your ability to hold the culture together, your ability to, um, just have the fulfillment match your front end, right? And so those things start crumbling, then the company starts crumbling. But like, that is the nature for any business. But if before that you have a formula to growth, then you can invest in other parts that need the love from the business, noting that you can go, hey, we can ramp up because we
Yep.
know the formulaic things to look at. Because I dare say anyone trying to invest the level of marketing that we are and then beyond what we want to invest, and we double our budgets over the next 4, 5, 6 years, there's
Mm,
no way I could sit here be comfortable in doubling that if I didn't have some sort of core formulas, metrics, drop off stages, numbers, where things are going wrong, where things are going right, integration with marketing, integration with sales. If I didn't have those things, you can't have like the unlock to moving
keep going.
forward beyond that.
That's good, man. I really like that breakdown. So less around the confidence. Again, strategy. I know you're the strategy guy in property, and now you're the strategy guy here within the business too. It sounds like understanding that sort of best case and worst case scenario and knowing you'll land somewhere in the middle. And if it is like more the worst case scenario, which levers to push and pull to get forward, rather than feeling like you got to throw Hail Marys in every part of the business and hope it sort of comes together. It gives you that power of like, hey, this is going well. That's at 80%. We're okay with that. We're going to test a few things over here. That might get to 100%. And we've got a bit in the tank if we do need to push this part of the business a bit further, where it is sales related or marketing related or try out AI or a different initiative. It's not going to compromise us. So we can keep moving forward at that sort of same velocity and there's less downside. So that's cool. That's really good to hear about that sort of turnaround and how it's closed the feedback loop because that'll be a bit of a byproduct. A lot of the guys I work with, again, it's speed to lead and stuff as well, but that sales drag. So if you're speaking to people in, January and they're coming aboard in April, obviously it's like, okay, why'd that happen? What's happening in between? So that's sort of the stickiness and just the commitment for you guys. You're getting motivated investors that want to do this and sort of buying into the vision of the business. So that's really cool to hear. I know you touched on like obviously we got a few quick wins as well. Just sort of coming back to that a little bit in terms of the speed of impact. Like, did you feel like there were results coming in, yeah, a number of days or weeks or months? Or where did you feel like, hey, we're going to keep Maddie around for a little bit to keep pushing this a bit further? Like, where do you feel like, there was a bit of an ROI or a level of, yeah, return on some of these things that you're starting to implement?
The ROI was felt in days and weeks because that was the like the earlier point I mentioned here. Um, is that I felt, and I'm not sure if it was intentional, Maddie, but I felt there was this like almost this like I call this a toolkit of things that you had. Let me jump into this toolkit. I'm going to give this business owner this couple of things,
Yeah.
the head of sales a couple of things, and I just know they're not doing them, and when they do them, they're going to come back wanting more. And so we went and did those immediately, and the way we structured our offer, the way we time tightened, the way we spoke to people, the way we closed the loop on certain content that we needed to give to people to help them see what the other side looked like and see the knowledge and things that we could share, like all of these things that we did, like that was in days and weeks, and that moved fast. And so then what happened was the commitment went beyond that because of that first feeling and how quickly you focused on can I give these guys some quick wins? Because if I can, that's going to allow us to have a longer relationship. And as a result, we did have a longer relationship that went beyond, well beyond that.
Yeah, man, that's really good to hear. And that's what I try and do. Like, obviously, everyone's business is different. It's your business, and this is the first time. And I'm like, okay, I want to if InvestorKit, was mine, and I put myself in your shoes, this is what I do. I try and like treat it like, hey, a bat out of hell. Like, what can I do ASAP to like turn, make as much impact as possible, as if it was my own. To have that level of ownership, and then to see you guys again implemented really, really quick, came back with a new list of feedback and call recordings and whatever it might be to sort of shift things a little bit more. So you can unlock another level. And yeah, it was really good sort of synergy in terms of just here's what should work, implement it, I'll help to refine it. You can stack it, standardize it, and then run with it. And then it's yours. And again, you don't need me sort of, watching over your shoulder. You can just add it in and keep moving forward.
I think
Um,
on that note, that's an important point as well, Matt. Like, is that there are certain businesses that are going to need a little bit less support. There are
mm,
certain businesses that need more, and there's certain businesses that need a lot more, and you need to be with them for much, much longer, like to take
yeah,
their hold hands through. And I feel like one thing that was really clear from like an ethics and values perspective with you specifically, and I think this will help a lot with not just others to understand this, but like more like our repeat work together,
yep,
is that this will help with people hearing this part. There was never a period in which we felt you made us feel that we needed to go through what we needed to go through for longer.
mm,
And there was never a period in which it was drips and drabs of information given. With whatever information you were given, you gave everything you could give. And so each time that went on was just you getting more information from us and responding with more rather than you're dripping and drabbing, dragging 10 things out for as long as possible for longer engagement. And why that's really important is that it's just going to mean that whenever we go through a bottleneck in the future, and remember, every company, unless it's a founder, which in this industry is little to none,
mm,
that has taken things to a scale in other businesses or the same industry multiple times over, just the same levels of success. And it's like hey, I'm just doing this to emulate what I once did.
yep,
They don't have the blueprint for the next problem and they will face another problem. And so this is where, like, just like clients engage us as experts, we engage experts. And so this will just mean that, hey, because of how we had such an ethical relationship on that front, is that 2 years later, we might follow, 1 year later, we might have another bottleneck, but at a different scale of success.
yeah,
And then
yep,
it's about having those fresh eyes to come back and a trusted eye to go, this person didn't try and rip it all out of us for many, 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 many months and years. This person goes, we solved the problem, off you go. And
yep,
like we've solved that, we're successfully going through that, but there will be another problem 6, 12, 18 months because that's the nature of business. And so
yep.
then we just feel confident because of the way you treated us in that first experience. We know that we can call you back in the future and we're just going to vibe and solve the problem again and not go through a deep, like, how long is this going to go for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. No, I really appreciate you sharing that and being super candid. And that's sort of my philosophy. Like, I want to work with people until they don't need me. It's never like, hey, you got to do this for 6 months and 12 months. And like you said, drip feed it. Because I've been part of that. And it's just a nightmare. You feel like some people are taking the mickey or, feel like, oh, this person might be ignorant or, what's going on versus like, no, let's just wholeheartedly work as hard and fast as we can. Treat it like your own business. And yeah, you get to the point where they're just empowered and they can do it there. And then there's other people do it. Like I love that sort of build phase, man. So again, really appreciate the insights and that you guys felt that I was just, acting, I guess, with the level of urgency as if I was sort of jumping in and closing calls and stuff too. But knowing that, yeah, still sort of being disciplined and detailed and stuff, but just moving quite quick without feeling like I'm sort of stretching things out necessarily. So yeah, and I really appreciate that sort of feedback and insights, man. It means a lot. Um, Outside of that, again, that brought to one thing while you're sort of talking that too. Did you feel, because this is one I get a lot too when I'm speaking to buyers agents, understanding like the people piece. Did you feel like any of the things as we're going through, I know big focus around sales, a little bit tied into marketing sometimes and a bit of ops. Walk through a bit. Did you feel like there's any implications with your team structure at all? Because that's one I do get a lot, particularly with buyers agents that might be, just getting off sales calls. They've got a couple of setters and closers. How do you feel like some of these things might implement, their team structure or getting more out of the staff they've currently got? Because I know that one does pop up a fair bit as you're sort of speaking through that sort of speed to act a little bit.
Yeah, I think when I go through our structure, I feel like for us, we were a little bit more on the mature side of a company, and so we didn't need as huge structure changes as such. Um, but what we did have is like your ability to look at look at certain areas and focus on the area that we needed most. But I definitely feel like from a structure perspective, yeah, there's going to be progression from setters to closers, closers to leadership, leaders to leading leaders. I guess coming back to us though, like, where your support was really helpful, it was around supporting the structure we had rather than forcing us into a new structure.
Yeah.
Like we already had the layers of leadership. We already had that. So you were able to work with our head of sales and work within the structure we had. We confined our focus and solutions first to closing and certain conversion and speed of conversion. And so it meant that we didn't go down the conversation of, oh, look, the problem sits here, or the problem sits there, and then make us restructure everything. But
Mm.
what I could tell is that from your like lens to try and look at the set aside as well, to try and look at the other things happening, um, it meant that if there was any structuring that was like a must and a huge hindrance, we would have had those chats and like we could tell that you wanted to see if that needed to be an impact. But the good news is it wasn't for us. And so for us, it was
Yeah.
more just like you know, hey, now we know that it's intact or at least where it should be. Like, let's lock into the core. And that's when we focused on that sales and marketing collab, the content we give them, the speed turnarounds, the conversion increases, the dialogue shifts, the things that needed to happen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we want to make the most of the team we've got. And again, you guys have got A players, which was really good to see. And it's like, how can we keep them there consistently? And again, just verify what they're doing, that it's all set up really, really well. But then again, if there were some people like, hey, you've implemented that, you've got this system in place and they weren't sort of meeting the bar, like this is what else you could do to make sure that it does happen so that that people piece isn't a factor at all. So, no, that's cool, man. I guess on your end, so thinking about, again, I know you've been in business for a very, very long time, but thinking about buyers agents that are, maybe a bit more in that sort of mid-size or early size too. What maybe, again, feedback, insights, when do you think this might help push the needle or be even just worthwhile to explore more than anything else? If you were to sort of go back and sort of look at, implementing this when you were at yeah, just more of a, I guess, a starting out sort of phase of your journey.
Yeah, look, so I think consulting is all about breakthroughs and then all about fixing problems. And so I guess one of the biggest mistakes people have is they get help when they have problems,
Yeah, yeah, I hear that.
right? And so even me today, like I approach the same thing. So if that's the case, if you asked Arjun from many years ago, what would I have done differently? Is that, hey, if I'd known you or met you many years ago, I would have just done it from the start.
Yeah.
So then that way you build the right way rather than fixing up the current way. So, what my advice is to the industry and others in the industry right now is two parts. Well, hey, if you're set in certain ways right now, get that external guidance to see what you need to adjust and optimize, and know that your team, you and your team will work to whatever we have, but optimize within that without shaking the whole boat because there's a greater business behind it too. And
Mm,
there's humans behind it. It's not just
yeah.
robotic changes and this is just make this happen and everyone just falls in line and has it happen. Like, no, we work to what we have, we work to the way we work, and then we adjust things. So that's for those businesses in that area. But if they're a new business thinking that they have to get to a certain scale to do something like this, big
Mm,
mistake. Do you know what I mean? Big mistake because you can just set it up right from the get go. So if you were to ask 2018, 2019, Arj, and I knew what I know today, I would have just been like, hey, just set this up right from the get go, set the core principles and fundamentals right from the get go. And that's probably the only way that people will then have a chance to um, claw back market share against the big players
yeah.
because it's like you have such low volume when you're starting out that every opportunity needs to have almost perfection.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're literally like basically if you have if you have a 20 to 25% conversion rate on a small known client warm business at 4 conversations a month of prospects that say I want to go ahead,
Yep.
that's literally one. You could be at 50 to 75 simply because of that warm layer and that traffic that's known and that volume that's that tight. You have no excuses to be able to truly serve that person through all the things you need to serve them through. Because the difference between you and the bigger business is you don't have all the claims that the bigger businesses can make.
Yep.
I can use equity, I can use speed, I can use result, I can pump case studies, I can share testimonials, I can have lives changed, I can have more humans servicing that customer better, faster, easier. Like I
Mm.
can have technology, I can have all these things. You can't have that. So if you can't, you're going to need to know how to help that customer out. And that's going to require just perfection through your systems because they're going to likely be backing you as the individual human.
Yeah.
And you
Trust.
don't want to then have poor systems in the way you serve them and see that fall apart. So I think
Mm.
more importantly is like for newer people in the industry, like this makes it even more important to get support from, yourself, Matt. And then from that perspective, they'll help them. But when it comes to the experience side, just know that like when we worked with you, we didn't have to change everything that we do because everything that we did also got us to 17th fastest growing company in the country in the AFR Fast 100, right? And 3 BA of the year. In
Yep.
the last 4 years, that has never happened. So you'd be silly to suggest that, and I'd be silly to accept that. So
Yeah.
it was like more like refinement. So I think this is where your style of catering can happen.
Yeah, man. No, again, really appreciate those insights. And yeah, like I said, when you're in the smaller numbers of maybe it's a small ad budget, smaller lead volume, whatever, every number counts. And what, levers can you push and pull to give you that confidence, conviction that you're making as much impact as possible? So you don't stagnate. I do see a lot of buyers actually they might get to a certain level and they hover. They're a bit tentative. Do I put their ad spend up? Should I try something new on the podcast? Should I go for an award? And they're like, oh, I'll just keep it there and keep leaning on my sort of referral network. And then 12 months go by and they're still sort of idling and they aren't able to sort of push through breakthrough to that next layer. It's like, okay, maybe I'll get a setter or maybe I'll get a closer or maybe I'll try this new ad angle or whatever it might be. So just the support in that unknown territory so that you can, yeah, be bigger and brighter and hit your vision of what you're very clear on, but also what other buyers agents want to do too. Man, I really appreciate your time. I know you're a very, very busy man. I was having my workout at Anytime Fitness and saw you on the news popping on the other day over the weekend and stuff. So yeah, really appreciate the time to just give an honest and sort of raw feedback as to what we sort of did together. What's next for you guys? Like I saw you on Hormozi's socials the other day, and yeah, what else is in store for yourself and InvestorKit in 2026, mate?
Yeah. So in terms of us for 2026, right now, I talk myself in financial years, not calendar year, right?
Yeah, Louis
So
said that.
our financial year for this year's first half is basically going, we figured it out and it's just execute. So it's
Cool.
like execute from the marketing, execute from the sales, execute from buying, execute there really well, and just execute well for our clients to change lives, get results. And so that is more just like let's just execute and everything is 1%ers for the rest of the financial year. The new financial year is going, whatever was our best quarter, being now from Feb till June so far,
Yep.
has to be our norm into
Standard.
the whole year.
Yeah,
So it's
cool.
not going to be one of those years where we're going for like crazy explosive growth new year. And it's not because we don't want to. It's because this is a business that is not just about demand, it's also fulfillment.
Yep.
And if you want to be around for 100 years, you don't make it just a demand business, you make it a two-part business, like quality fulfillment, done right, done in the right areas, done at the right speed. And so we have to have a positively moving roller coaster, a positively moving roller coaster. Demand improvements met by fulfillment improvements, demand improvements met by fulfillment improvements. And if we don't, then you risk the long-term legacy of your company. And so from our perspective right now, 2026 is that we've got it all figured out so far, momentum's on, but going into the new financial year, We need to not boom up even further. We need to just go keep getting this other side of it right and keep refining that and get ready for another year of that part, then the other part again.
Yep.
And I think why it's important to highlight is that in 2026, people who are going to improve their sales and marketing, as an example, often will make the mistake of just going, how far can I take this?
Mm.
And they'll do everything crazily
Yep.
and push hard. And then they forget there's a business part to it. There's a customer on the other side that needs it done right. And so I feel like for us, it's like we're going to keep working through this side, but not explosive territory. We're going to balance the other side out, keep making sure that's well improving every year, so a customer can go, hey, every year I come back, you guys just keep getting better.
You're on.
And
Yeah.
as long as that happens, then we're on, man. And that's just going to be the theme for every year. Is, working on that fulfillment side to keep getting better and smoother, and then look at the opportunities to speak to more people, convert more people to believers to be with us, and then work with us, and then show them that they'll never have to go anywhere else again once they get serviced by us. So that's kind of the flow for 2026, man. Not just this boom, keep we had some wins and success and keep going on the sales front. Nothing like that. We're going to keep making sure we balance things right.
Yeah. Nice, man. They're really exciting. It sounds like execute the rest of this financial year, next year, make that the new normal and standardize it and yeah, keep doing what you guys are doing. And yeah, I really appreciate again time to go through this, mate. And any, contribution I could have had to lead to that massive quarter for you guys and be part of that new normal, new norm for you guys coming to the next financial year. And yeah, wishing you continued success of, again, our sort of business relationship and friendship as to what might happen for the years to come.
Sounds good, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks for your help.
Thanks, Arch.
See you, mate.